What we're going to do is we will imagine that a young Yanis here, this is what I looked like when I was a kid. A young Yanis is trying to take the SQE and is trying to prepare for it all on his own. Now, how do you actually do this? It came to me about a year or two ago that we really do not understand the perspective of an independent candidate for something like this, because we are all working in an institution. So we're all working with students that are currently on a full-time program, and we are trying to help them towards some objective, some degree, or passing a particular assessment. So the idea that somebody could just turn up and try and take a major exam, such as this European-style bar exam, and do it on their own and prepare is unfamiliar to us. Yet, we are going to have to deal with this because a lot of our candidates, a lot of our alumni, but a lot of our current candidates are going to come out with a law degree, and then they're going to have to face the SQE, not necessarily by choice and not by planning, but they will come to the point that they have to do this. And maybe we didn't prepare them for it because it wasn't yet on our horizon, or maybe there are people who graduated a little bit earlier, or maybe they've come from a foreign jurisdiction. So I thought, what can we do to help these people? Now, why do we want to help them? I don't know, maybe we can get them to pay for it somehow, or maybe we just want to help them because we're in legal education and, we like to educate people. So young Yanis let's think about a scenario. He's a Greek lawyer, right? He has studied a law degree somewhere in the continent. He has become a lawyer in a foreign jurisdiction, has been working in the UK as a paralegal or in some part of domain of the law, so he knows a little bit about practice, and now he's thinking, why am I getting paid 40 grand when everybody else is getting 100? I will qualify as a solicitor. And he's trying to go through the SQE in order to achieve this. If he had done it a year ago, he would be going through the QLTS, which is exactly the same stuff, but with a different label. Thank you very much, SRA, for inflicting this upon the rest of the population. Where do you even start? First of all, you have to pay for it. Are you all aware that this is a costly exercise? So you have to pay, these are the prices for the new session, £1,798 just to sit the exam for SQE1, and if you're successful in that one, then you have to fork out $2,766. And this is kind of inflation adjusted, so it's going to go up every year. So I don't know how much you're getting paid, but this is a lot of money for me. Just simply to sit an exam, this is a significant investment right there. Somebody will have to pay for this in order to register. Talk about opening access to the profession, yeah? And then they will come across the question, how do I study for this? If this is an exam and now I've paid and I'm on it and I can see it coming, now I've got X amount of months to prepare, where do I even get started? Now, remember that Yanis there already has some experience of working in the profession, already has some legal education, so he's not starting from scratch, but he still needs to prepare. Nobody walks into an exam assuming that they'll figure it out there and then, or in any event, they shouldn't. How do you figure out what to study and how are you going to study it? My initial reaction would be, well, I gotta buy some books about it. Surely I'm gonna find some book that tells me what to do. This is the first slap in the face of poor Yanis, because not only he paid the 1,700 extra pounds to register for the exam, the pre-prepared packages from the publishers that contain information on the substantive law that one needs to know for the SQE cost a great deal of money. Many publishers offer similar packages. As an example, the University of Law has an SQE1 pack at the bargain price of £400.48. You can get a similar package from Oxford University Press for $450. Every other similar compilation is pretty much equally expensive. If you ad hoc this by going into Amazon and picking all the kind of second-hand copies of whatever and put a bundle, we're still talking about hundreds of pounds. That assumes that you knew which books you should get to begin with. And there aren't many books that are targeted for the style of exam that this is. So this is a major hurdle. How do you figure out what to study And once you figure out what are the functioning knowledge content that you need, how do you actually get the material to be able to study it? Trouble. Now, this is the point where everybody goes, I am not gonna do this by myself. And they're looking for some assistance. I love assistance because this is where we get to make some money. This, again, is not fun for the candidate. For example, there is a great variety of providers out there that are going to offer assistance for SQE-related content. I just picked up 2 because I just stay within the first 2 or 3 Google results. Yeah? No, Barbary is going to charge you. Now, there are endless, now I need to note here that there are endless variations. Some of them are fully online, some of them are hybrid, some of them are face-to-face. Some of them have got materials with them or not, different levels of engagement, different tutor contact. So this is a sort of typical offering that's predominantly online. Barbary, the big American provider, is going to charge you £3,400 for a foundations course. These are the legal basics. Our friend Yanis here doesn't need this because already has some experience of the substantive content. But the preppers for SQE1 and SQE2 are £3,000 each. Add this to the cost of the exam. These come with the material, so you wouldn't have to buy the material packs separately, but still, this is a significant expense. If you go for the University of Law option, by the way, I'm not sponsored by anybody. These are just kind of Google results, yes? The Essentials, which matches the Foundations, is a bit more expensive for these guys. The prepper courses are significantly more expensive. Because I think this is a purely online offering. This is an offering that offers some face-to-face contact and tutor support. Very expensive. Now, people that are independent candidates now have a significant choice to make. Do you take the risk of embarking on this project on your own, purchasing the books at additional cost and trying to work through the content and hope for the best? Or do you get assistance from somebody? Now, the point of this presentation was to think about whether it is possible to actually do it on your own. Because for people that I've worked with through the QLTS and similar stuff, they were trying to kind of do it on their own and spend as little as possible. You shouldn't. Don't do it. It's extremely risky. You know why you shouldn't do it? Because you will figure out the substantive content. One way or the other, you will reach the right textbooks and casebooks and things to get the substantive content. What you will not get is, what is this exam actually like? I don't know. Nobody knows. We are actually designing courses for this and we don't know, because the SRA, in its brilliance, has given us a brief outline of what it is, an outline of what the knowledge content is, and they've offered us a sample bank of questions. Yeah, if only it were that easy. You get like a bank of MCQs and you're thinking, all right, I've gone through the 10 samples and then I Googled some, so yeah, that'll be fine. No, you won't. And that is SQE1, which is the easy bit. Now, I don't know if you've tried any multiple choice questions for SQE1 format. They're all scenario-based, they're not easy at all. And they're all the opposite of what we teach at uni. At uni, we try to teach context, importance, a little bit of theory. These things are about the details. These things are all about the footnotes. Yeah? It's extremely difficult. Now, get to SQE2, you're dead in the water. Advocacy skills, things that a real lawyer is going to do in practice. You have to represent a client at a police station. You have to do all of these things that, unless you've gone through the LPC, you will not even have heard of. And how do you write a case note? I don't know, I've never written a case note in a police station. I don't know what to do. And the samples that you might find looking online are not going to help you. Is it possible to self-study successfully for the SQE, just Googling your way through the subject or using social media? I have done my bit for the world of legal education by creating a YouTube site that you're welcome to go by following the QR code on the screen, offering a lot of advice both on substantive content and on dealing with MCQs and all the rest of the stuff to try and help the people who are stuck in precisely this situation. Should people do it? No, they should not. Because no amount of Googling your way around these issues is going to help you understand the nature of the exam. And even if you manage to scrape through SQE1 without tutoring, there is no way you're going to manage SQE2. So what is the outcome of this little kind of homemade study? If you have been working in the legal profession in this country for about a decade, and you're already a qualified lawyer overseas, then you might be able to do it by yourself at cost if you get your employer to give you 6 months off to prepare. Because there's also that for each level of the 6 months for one and 6 months for the other. If you are younger, don't have experience of practice, you don't have a recent law degree, or perhaps you're coming from a non-law background, because now the SQE takes people without a law degree, you really do not stand a chance. You will be wasting your money on registering for the exam and trying to do it on your own. What does this mean for us as legal educators? Because the majority of us around here are working in an institution, in a law school. We need to do better, because our graduates are going to have to go through this. We can no longer hide behind the fact that, oh, they will still take people from the LPC for a few years coming. They won't, they don't. Nobody is offering training contracts anymore. They're forcing people through the SQE route regardless. And I don't think we are preparing our students for this. We need to think about what to do to plug this gap. And if we want them to self-study, if we're genuinely telling them, you've got a law degree from here that taught you the basics, you can successfully self-study, we need to plug the gap and somehow explain to our students what the exam is actually going to be like. Otherwise, they're taking an enormous risk and they're taking an enormous cost, or we're gifting away market share to private providers who are doing things online that we cannot even assess the quality of.